May peace and love touch all of the ears that are listening to today's message. This is a message for the chosen and for those who are awakening to the truth. Now, I would like to preface today's message by first saying, there's nothing wrong with desiring material things or a certain lifestyle. But I want you to ask yourself, how can you be so sure that these are your inherent desires and not desires that were placed upon you from birth? So deeply ingrained into your mind that you seldom question why it is you do what you do, or act how you act, or strive toward what you strive for. Part of it is perception, sure, but the main part that we'll focus on today is programming. Yes, you, your mother, your father, your neighbor, and your freshman college roommate, and myself have all been programmed. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? It begins in elementary school, through college, or any higher education that you may pursue. From day one, you're being indoctrinated to desire paper degrees, marriage, children, mortgages, and car notes, aka debt. You're told to want these things in no particular order, of course, but heaven forbid you do them in an order that doesn't follow the status quo. Then one shall feel the judgment. Oftentimes, in the news or media, we get bombarded with low vibrational information. This creates not only a low vibration for the viewer, but most importantly, through repeated, often politically charged language, it invokes cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance meaning hearing something so many times that you eventually believe it to be true without any real research or due diligence. This may mean rejecting new information simply because it conflicts with your beliefs or what you've been told your entire life. I get it. No one wants to feel duped, and I must say there's nothing easier about the alternative of being truly awake. You see, once you're truly awake, you begin to question everything. You begin to look at your childhood and the roles that were placed upon you and ask questions about, did they shape who you are? Or is this actually who you wanted to be? Now let's go ahead and go over a few seemingly harmless things our parents and family say. To boys, wow, you're so strong. Aw, big boys don't cry. And to girls, you're so pretty. Be nice. Smile. Aw, take care of the baby. We immediately fall into roles of babysitter, kitchen connoisseur, and are told to smile as to not be too masculine. From kitchenette sets to baby dolls, we are programmed to be caregivers and nurturers immediately from the womb. And while there's nothing wrong with being a caregiver or a nurturer, it immediately places importance on giving love to others first before ourselves. Now, this goes really deep, and it's deeper than just for girls. It's for everyone, and it begins in school. Especially if you went to a public school, even a private school, we're taught to conform. They have us sit in rows. For some of us, we have to wear uniforms. If we're not required to wear uniforms, well, then there's dress codes, especially for the girls. Fingers to measure how wide your tank top is, no midriff, arms down by your side to make sure your skirt or your shorts aren't too short, which everyone's anatomy is different, so how that would be uniform or universal to judge everyone, it's just very unfair. They also make you raise your hand to speak or simply to use your bodily function. You need permission to relieve your bladder or your bowels. Now, taking a large leap forward, let's dive into marriage and kids. We see it all the time. Someone starts a new business and rushes to Facebook or insert your favorite social media platform, and they shout from the rooftops, "Here I am! Here's my website, share with everyone you know who may be interested." Sadly, this post may warrant anywhere from 5 to 25 likes, Whereas the same person could share an engagement photo or a pregnancy and garner a mass amount of support. 500 likes easy. And if you haven't watched my very first video on this channel, I will link it above, why I broke up with social media. It's very relevant to this if you're enjoying this message. But the moral of the story here is people support you living the life that they're living, but anything outside of that box rarely causes a mass influx of support. Why is this? Why do we not support our friends and family on social media when they start a business, but we'll support the cosign of a man proposing or the fact that sex successfully equated to a baby? The answer, while complex, can also be boiled down to we love to see in others what we see in ourselves. This stems from the programming that we receive from birth through grade school, college, or any higher education into the workplace and beyond. Buzz Lightyear style. While there is pleasure in the pathless woods, there is also intense loneliness as you navigate uncharted waters, waiting for someone, anyone, to throw you a bone or shoot. Even a life raft will work because you're drowning from treading for so long without a break. We're programmed to believe that if we just go to school, get good grades, get into a good college, graduate from good college, and get a good job, well, then we've succeeded. But unfortunately, the projections that society has placed on us don't end there. Next, they'll be asking, when are you getting married? And if you're successful at snagging that perfect, loyal, till death do us part partner, well, then expect the when are you two having kids question. And don't think if you have one kid, it will end there. Next, they'll be saying how little Susie or Devante needs a little brother or sister. Then they'll judge the car you drive, the city you live in, and where you enroll your kids. You see, once you start conforming, it becomes pretty damn hard to stop. Next thing you know, you're head of the PTA, book club, and bi-weekly carpool. The life you had once imagined has been replaced with baking gluten-free, peanut-free, dare I say, free, bakeless desserts for people who don't actually give a flying F about you. The same reason we are drawn to the ocean is so that we can see something bigger than ourselves. I'm going to end this message here. If it resonated, give me a big thumbs up. Share it with someone who may also need to hear it. I hope it brings you solace along your journey. I've just began sharing tarot messages here. If that's your cup of tea, go ahead and check those out. I am sending you much love, light, and peace, elevation, and consciousness on your journey. Namaste and Ashe.